Hey guys, Neph here, and today we are going to talk about SFIC interchangeable core locks, and the one that I found that I think you guys should get because it is awesome. So let's go ahead and get into it here with, first off, what are they? So SFIC small format interchangeable core also has LFIC for large format and a few other abbreviations. Normally look like this. Best is one of the most prominent suppliers, providers. I see a ton of Best interchangeable core locks. Tend to be the point of them is for if you want to be able to rekey a facility, retail, if you change management, or if you're going to have somebody in there doing some work and you don't want them to have your standard keying, instead of calling a locksmith out, you take your control key, you turn it just a little bit to pop that open, and boom, you are now rekeyed on the spot. You give whoever that needs it your new operating key, which will just control the core. It won't remove the core, and that'll be a different key entirely, so you get 2 keys per. And then, okay, the construction guy's done. We're going to go ahead and put it in and pop it open just a little bit. Boom. Pull that out. We're done. Now we can switch back to our other one. So that's the point of them, is rekeying on the spot without having to worry about much. Really, really convenient thing. Saves yourself a lot of money in rekeying if you're in an establishment that has a lot of turnover or has a lot of people going through that you don't want to have keys for it. Now, what are the negatives? Well, first off, with some of these, especially these Best cores, they're really tough to gut. This one and this one right here, I can't gut them without ruining something. As you can see, there's no clip on the back, and there's just these caps on top. So the only way for me to gut that is to take a punch down here, put it in the pin, smash it, hammer it, and crush the spring. That cap will pop out, and everything will be removed. Generally, you would only do that for rekeying. And if you did, boom, you're done. So it's kind of not very cool. I'm not real happy when I see that. Now there is this Medico interchangeable core I have here. This one actually has a C-clip on the plug, which is nice, but it can be difficult to work with them just with the C-clip, because when you run your follower through, if you slip up as your driver pins come out, keep in mind you have multiple drivers, or a driver and a master wafer, because you have a shear line to operate the lock, and you have a shear line to move the locking plate. So that requires a driver pin, a master wafer, and a key pin. So if you don't keep track of what comes out when you're running your follower through there, you could have some trouble that way too. Now enter in the Marks High Security SFIC. First off, you can see on top here that it has set screws straight from the factory, which means that I can take that screw off and I can dump out what's in here. I can watch how it comes out and be aware of what order those pins need to go back in. That alone, straight from the factory, is worthwhile. But let's go ahead and take it one step further. Here's our keys for it, our control and our operating key, and I'm sure you see something right here, and that is, see how shiny that is? That is sidebar bitting. This is an interchangeable core lock with a sidebar. You can see those side pins right in there. Now, it's not going to be an Acid Twin 6K by any means. Great option, though, for practicing with sidebars and learning how those work. Pretty decent keyway for doing that. It's not super restrictive. This is awesome for having access to multiple different types of locking mechanisms, as well as being able to throw it in an interchangeable core mortise. To add to that, the guy who has these, his name is Lock Jockey. You can find him on the LPU Discord, on YouTube, and on Reddit under Lock Jockey. He also has these. Now these I'm scared of, but I love them. I am not going to be putting this in the vise today with these in it, but here is, this is just like a decoder to keep track of stuff, but look at these pins. I think he called them M2 pins. Let me go ahead and flip them all so you can see what we're working with here. Sorry about that. Sometimes they shake around while they're in there. All right, so look at those security pins. How cool is that? We've got some awesome serrations. We've got barrel spools. We've got spooled key pins. We've got serrated key pins. On top of having just a really awesome lock, you can then rekey it with these pins, which will match your bidding, and try it with all the security pins. So you have some really great options in getting this lock for the price it is. I'm just think it's awesome. We're gonna go ahead and give it a shot though today with just these standard drivers in it, because those pins, those security pins, I'll be honest, maybe they, I haven't even tried them yet, maybe they are easier in the sense of giving you more feedback, because interchangeable core locks can be tough because you have the double shear line. So even if you put every pin up to its top shear line, you might be incorrect about what you're working with, because if you look here on our operating key, we have a couple that are higher, but we also have a couple that are lower on the control key. So nothing here, none of these keys will get a shear line if every single pin is at its furthest top shear line. So you really have to go by feel and using your jiggle test and stuff like that. And that could be another positive too with training you on that, teaching, working on with jiggle test. I was, until I got this lock here, I was not a big fan of interchangeable core locks at all. I didn't like the double shear line. It's tough to work with. This allowed me to learn a little bit more and get a little bit farther. So let's see if we can show you that today. I'm going to try and get it picked on camera. We'll get her in the vise and see how it works out. Alrighty guys, we got her locked up here. We're going to go ahead and start by trying to get the control side done. There's our key for that. Go ahead and put the key in and test it out if I can get it lined up. Oh, actually, I lied. That's our operating key. Doi. So there is our control key. Try not to hit the camera. There we go. Boom. Tiny bit, tiny bit, tiny bit, tiny bit. There's our control side. Alright, let's see how it goes. We're going to use a small, really thin wiper insert for tension. Medium hook, 25 thousandths, laser cut. Tiny little wiper insert dimple flag for the sidebar. So let's do it. With these SFIC, basically a lot of jiggle testing, because you want to know if you are on a shear line for what you're trying to do. Because if you're on a shear and it's not even willing to jiggle, you may have you may be on the wrong shear for the operating or control, depending on what you're trying to do. So got a good click on 3 and 5. That little click was on 6. Nothing on 7. I may have actually overset one of them, so I'm gonna probably pulse some tension here in a minute. Good click on 2. 3 is good. Let's check 1. Oh, good click on 1. Actually, it looks like I did good because I'm getting some core movement. So I just tapped on 3 even harder, and I think it released all the way to go to the sidebar. I'm just checking everything, doing my jiggle test in. It's not, it's like a, it's still a jiggle test, but it does feel a little bit different than what I would be used to for standard jiggle test type stuff. So now we're gonna do that sidebar. So these are not sprung, as you can see right there. They just lay there. So I tend to pulse tension and then try and knock them into their gate, because they get locked up pretty good if you're just being hard on them, or I mean if you're just on really, really tight tension. So there we go. And there it is. So on this one specifically, like I said, the operating is easier, or I mean control is easier. You can see it's pulled in there instead of sticking out. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock it back out. There it is, boom. And we're gonna try and do the operating side. And I'll be honest, I don't know that I can do them both in one take. But for Lock Pickers United, I do believe that that's what they require for belts, is both in one take. So let's give it a shot here. Nothing on 1, 2, or 3. Click on 4. Click on 5. Click on 6. Click on 7. Start at the beginning, feel around a little bit. Nothing on 1, 2, or 3. That was another click on 5. Yeah, I think I have overset some stuff, so well, maybe not. Let's give it a shot here. Little click on 2, nothing on 3. Yeah, a couple of, feels like 6 and 7 are set, but I know I've overset some, so I'm actually going to do a full reset and try that again. I'm going to start from the back-ish here. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Well, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's weird. Something's up with my tension there. Let's try that one more time. Four. Little click on 4. Nothing on 5, 6. Little click on 7. There we go. I needed to pulse some tension there. Click on 2. 3 feels set. Nothing on 4. 5. Well, 5 felt set. 6 feels set. 7 feels set. Sometimes you need to pulse that action. Nothing on 1. 2. Ah, good click on 3 actually. And then I accidentally pulled back and I bumped 1 a little bit. I may have actually said it. That was that little click there. Pulsing some tension. And the pulse is like, for me, you know, there's all these little master wafers in here. I'm sure they can get lodged up and stuck and whatever. So you're just kind of helping them get where they need to be, basically. Everything on the top stack feels set. Just being sure here because I didn't get a lot of core movement. But let's go ahead and check this sidebar. Yeah, sidebar's feeling pretty tight. 1's where it needs to be. Two is now where it needs to be. That's a good solid click. 3 is now where it needs to be. Start at the beginning here. 1's good. 2's good. Whoa! I think we got her. I hope it didn't snap back on me. Let's double check here. Yeah, no, she's good. All right, she's wide open. Let's go ahead and gut it. Alrighty guys, let's take a look at what we got here. So there's where our sidebar goes in. There's the springs for it. Pretty strong springs actually. The sidebar really felt like it was in there. There's no real counter milling or anything, just a really nice, nicely machined cylinder plug. Really shiny, good stuff. This was new from factory, but I mean this stuff is really nice looking. Here's the sidebar. Nothing super insane here. That is the outside of it, so they just bite on that square edge there, which you can see here. And each one of these is a different height for the gate. So we've got that. And as you can see, so here's your setup for those that haven't messed around with SFIC a lot. Here's your setup for that. When you put your pins to the correct heights to just do the control, you'll have a shear line where just these, I think what it is these small ones here fall into that. And then, because I can see when I've been in here, you can actually see the end of it. It's turned a little bit because it's in, so you can see just half of it. But you can see that based on the height, there will be one of these small ones in there. So, I think. And then when you operate, you've got your operating height where it'll just go up to whatever height it is. And what you'll see, if you have a decoder, you can put your key on it, I think, or something to where you can actually double check all the heights and stuff. So you can line everything up and see what it's supposed to look like. If you catch my drift, you know, stuff like that. And people will check that kind of stuff for the heights. You see what I'm saying there? So, and then I thought while we're zoomed in here, I'd give you one more look at these M2 pins. Again, you can get this lock by talking to Lock Jockey, YouTube, Reddit, Discord, the LPU Discord. I just think these are so cool. I'm hoping to just buy a set, to be honest. So maybe if I can put some more time into this lock's going to be moving on to somebody else very soon. But maybe if I can put some more time into it, I'll be able to test that out as well. So I hope you guys like what you saw. If you got any questions, comments, suggestions, or feedback, go ahead and leave it in under the video here. Happy to answer them. Like I said, talk to Lock Jockey if you want to get your own SFIC from Marks High Security. It was a ton of fun. Like I said, used to hate SFIC locks, but this one actually was pretty cool. Pretty interesting to learn. I like sidebar locks. I like figuring that stuff out, and I was really able to put some time in to some positive time into figuring out how to do that, and it was fun. So thanks a lot for watching, guys. Y'all have a great night.